Senator Rand Paul will headline a major Republican fundraiser dinner in Iowa, fueling speculation of a run at the White House in 2016 after he got a lot of buzz at CPAC, winning the straw poll there in Washington, often seen as a big get for presidential hopefuls. Senator Paul just squeezing by Florida Senator Marco Rubio. The Kentucky Republicans with me now, member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Sir, good morning to you and welcome back here to America's Newsroom.
Glad to be with you.
You are in the news this week for immigration, and I want to zero in specifically on a part of this issue that is absolutely key for you to get more Republican support and your own idea across, and that is border security. How do you define that?
Well, you know, the problem has always been, back in the 80s, we did this. We normalized people and they promised us border security and it never came. So conservatives are skeptical of immigration reform because they say, oh, you'll promise us again, you'll secure the border, and then 10 years from now, there'll be 11 million new people that come across illegally. So we want absolute guarantee that the border is secure as part of immigration reform. So I proposed an amendment called Trust But Verify. And it says that every year Congress has to vote on border security. And if the border's secure, the immigration reform progresses. If the border's not secure, immigration reform stops until the border becomes secure.
I understand you put a stop on that in terms of the language, but is that based on number of border crossings, troops deployed on the border? Or is that the number of people who come in or go out, or drones in use? I mean, how do you define that?
It's going to have to be based on a lot of things, and we're still working on the exact language, to tell you the truth, but it will be on how well we're enforcing it. For example, now, when we catch people crossing illegally, we let them go and say, oh, please come back for a court date in about a month, and, you know, a small percentage return and the rest remain in the country on the lam illegally. So really, you have to have enforcement where if you are caught crossing the border, 100% go back home, because we need legal immigration, but we have to have no illegal immigration. Part of that has to be fixing the worker program too. We have 65,000 official work permits being issued to pick crops, but 1 million people coming in to pick crops. So why aren't the other million getting work visas? Something's wrong with the work visa program.
That's a great point too, but it seems on border security that the definition slides a bit, and it could slide over time.
Well, we'll have to figure that out. I mean, that is something open for debate. There's not an exact right or wrong as to what border security is, but the Border Patrol will help to tell us what segments of the border are secured. We will also have an investigator general that looks at how many people are being checked for background checks, how many people are crossing illegally. So there will be parameters that are real numbers that you can look at. The other thing we've been considering is adding in reports from each of the border governors. So have the governors write a report for Arizona, for Texas, for New Mexico, and California, and then vote on their reports as part of the overall report on border security.
All right, now you know that you're a right target for the word amnesty, and I know you mentioned it a little bit, but conservatives on the right, they will pin this on you, like Ann Coulter last Saturday. Listen here.
Yeah.
If amnesty goes through, America becomes California, and no Republican will ever win another national election.
And it went a lot further than that. Rush Limbaugh says that Republican ideas are being sold down the line, and people like Coulter and Limbaugh say that people like you are being suckered into an agreement here. And what they argue is that conservative principles should not be sacrificed here. It's that the Republican message has been lost in the process. What would you say to that?
I've got a news flash for those who want to call people names on amnesty. What we have now is de facto amnesty. We have 11 million people here. They've been here, some of them for a decade or more. No one's telling them to go home. No one's sending them home. So I would say if you want to work, we'll find a place for you. But that doesn't mean that you get special privileges. It just means we'll get you a work visa. Work visas, really, we have plenty of work visas to give every year. We're not giving them out because the process is too onerous. So we need to make the facility of getting a work visa much easier. But the idea that somehow...
But the political point, Senator, is that you're bending to the wishes of perhaps even the left or moderates in the middle who insist that the Republican message has to change, and you're bending with it as opposed to upholding conservative principles. To that point,
the clip you played said, oh, we won't be competitive in national elections. Here's another news flash. We haven't been too competitive in the last 2 national elections. And I'm not asking for an abrogation of law. I'm not asking for something that's not conservative. I'm the one up here saying we have to have border security, but I am one up here who says if people want to work, we'll find a place for them. And I think that is not only the right thing to do, but it is a way to expand the Republican Party where people will listen to us because they say it's a reasonable position.
I apologize, Senator. I wish I had more time. We got some breaking news now.